Hi everyone, welcome to Sunset Acres Farm. If you're new here, I'm Emily, and today we are going to be making hardwood cuttings from our apples and peach trees. We're going to first start with a pot, and we're going to fill it with potting soil. Think that's good?
So.
So you want them like about 8 inches long. And obviously you can cut these a while ago. Feel the bottoms are kind of
So cut the bottoms off.
browned out. But you always want to start, you want the bottom on a bud. You always cut your bottoms square. You make sure that, see there's debris in there. So you need to make sure it's green. Especially like this one, see it's getting brown on the bottom.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make this one too much shorter. You don't really want the end of the bud to be your start. So we're going to cut down a little bit. On your top, you always cut an angle cut so you know which way's up, which way's down. Because trees won't grow like that. They'll start growing down because they know which way's which. So we're going to...
So flat on the bottom, angled on the top.
Yes, that's just so you know what's what. You're just going to take and you're scrape off a little bit of the bark on the bottom. You don't want to scrape off the green, because that's what is your growing cells, called your cambium. So you scrape some of that off, just the outer layer of bark. So that way you can have roots grow. Dip it in some rooting powder. That's just to stimulate root growth, and just dunk it in there.
And how deep do you poke it in?
Enough.
More than the green?
Yeah.
Yep. Did you already cut the bottom of this one?
Okay.
Is it dry?
Doesn't look like it. So that's probably why. Obviously you didn't cut the top. So where do you want me to cut it?
You always cut it right where the butt is, and you cut it on an angle on the top.
So like that.
You don't want to cut your butt off, but just scrape off.
So you don't want to cut the bud?
Just want to scrape it off a little bit.
Okay.
No, just take your knife flat. No,
The backside?
not the back side, but just like
'Cause
that.
you don't want to take the
see your
green
outer
off.
layer will come off. You can almost like peel it off too. You don't want to take off the green part, which is your cambium.
Okay.
And so without the cambium, it won't grow.
The cambium is what holds all your xylem and phloem cells, which produces all your new growth, just on the outer layer, underneath the bark. Just take it flat like that. Like that.
Okay.
More too. Like probably better to.
So it doesn't matter if you hit a bud?
You don't expect it to go all around too. Like that's plenty. And you dip that in the rooting powder.
Okay.
There's not like an exact science to it. Make sure you cover all of
All the green?
it. Yeah.
Mm.
And the rooting powder is just a like stimulus to make it grow more out of season. Alright, so this is the last one. So what you're looking for, you want it to be like 6 to 8 inches long. You want them, you don't want little ones like this one we're gonna try, but it's super small, it probably won't take. But you want them big enough because you want enough nutrients inside of the cutting to put out roots. So basically, on the bottom end, you want to cut near where a bud is. You're gonna see a little bud right in here. So you want to cut near one, you want to cut it flat on the bottom so you can tell which way is up and which way is down, because you don't want to put them in backwards. And then on the top, you're going to find a bud, you're going to cut an angle cut, pretty close to a bud, it doesn't have to be right on there, like that. You cut an angled cut so you know which way is up. And then what you do is just scrape off, you can use a knife or pruners. You scrape off your outer layer of bark. You don't want to scrape off your green stuff, which is your cambium. Just scrape off the bark. That. Clean it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we do that because then we'll dip it in some rooting hormone, just like that. And that's where your roots will grow. And the hormone kind of stimulates the growth because you're doing this out of season with a hardwood cutting. And just stick it in there like that and keep it in a cool, dark place. And you want to keep them damp. You don't want to keep them saturated with water, but you got to keep them damp so they don't dry out.
You don't want to use a bucket because you can flood your plants. Instead, you want to use a watering can. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put them in trays because obviously they have holes on the bottom because they're the pots from the store, and then we're going to water them.